This programme is sponsored by Philly Shave, a Champions League sponsor.
It's Durant again, who's onside. Heatley's in the middle.
The moment that saved Rangers' Champions League challenge from 2-0 down, Rangers fought back to draw with Marseille. Tonight they face CSKA Moscow, the side that knocked out holders Barcelona. Moscow are bottom of the group. 2 weeks ago in Belgium they lost to FC Bruges. Good evening to you and welcome to our exclusive coverage of the second set of matches in the European Champions League. All we can ask is that the drama and excitement of a fortnight ago is matched in the 4 games you'll see with us here tonight. For now, we're building towards live coverage of CSKA Moscow against Rangers from Bochum, Germany. And our guests tonight know all about big occasions like this.
Butcher waits. There's Butcher! Butcher for Rangers!
Skippered Rangers in the early years of the club's revival in the late 80s, always in the thick of the action, and Davy Cooper always cool under pressure, as he proved so many times in the light blue. Welcome both. Terry, good to be back in Scotland.
Yes, it's nice to be back. It's actually nice to see those pictures again. I think that was the last goal I scored. It seems about 5 years ago now, but it's nice to be here, yes.
Good man, welcome back to you too, Davy. What chance do you give Rangers tonight?
Yeah, I think obviously a very good chance tonight, Jim. We don't know a lot about the Russians, as we know, but they lost the game against Bruges, and I think Rangers will be looking to build on the draw they got in the first match. I think they can do well tonight.
You go along with that, Terry?
Yeah, I think so. Looking at the Rangers team, I mean, it's a much more solid team, I think, with all due respect to the lad Murray, who came in and did very well in the first game. Obviously, Richard Gough wasn't quite fit, Trevor Steven wasn't quite fit. Trevor Steven would have benefited from more games. They look to have a more solid team, and hopefully, you know, that solid look can transform itself into goals.
But no Richard Gough and no Gary Stevens tonight, Davy.
Yes, obviously a big blow to Rangers. I feel really sorry for Gary. He's had a terrible season so far with injuries. But now we've got to look on the positive side. I think Stuart McCall will come into that position, and I'm sure he'll do very well. And they have to go in with a positive attitude, don't they, Terry?
Yes, I think so. It's not as though away goals count for anything in these games. I mean, if they go into the game and say, right, obviously the first 10 or 15 minutes will be each team toying with each other, trying to get to know the strengths and weaknesses of the opponents. And given that early cautious start, you know, if Rangers can give it a real good go, whereas they didn't perhaps against Marseille, if they can give it a real good go, with Andy McCoy's back up front, they're bound to score goals.
Let's hope so. Well, we'll take a break there. In a couple of minutes, we look in detail at the men from Moscow. Hello again. Well, despite their defeat against FC Bruges, CSKA Moscow will be formidable opposition for Rangers tonight. Ken McRobb reports on the Russian champions.
Having disposed of Viking Reykjavik in a 5-2 aggregate, CSKA took on the European Cup holders Barcelona in round 2. In the home leg at the Lenin Stadium, Alexander Grishin gave CSKA a 1-0 lead. But the Spaniards squared it at 1-1 and were 2-0 up in the new camp when CSKA showed what they're made of. Fezulin setting up Bushmanov for their first. A second-half corner saw defender Denis Mashkarin sprint into the box to head the Russians level on the night, level on aggregate, but ahead on the away goals rule. However, CSKA didn't have to rely on that regulation. In the cauldron of the new camp, Dmitry Korsakov, Alexander Grishin and Ilshat Fezulin tore Barcelona apart. Substitute Korsakov sealing a memorable 3-2 victory with a cheeky back heeler that secured a place for the Russians in the Champions League. That part of the campaign began a fortnight ago in Belgium. CSKA survived persistent Bruges pressure but were beaten when number 3 Kolotovkin played Amakachi onside and the striker scored what was the only goal of the game.
Well, Terry, they put out Barcelona, so Rangers have to give them every respect.
Yes, I think Rangers will do. I think that Walter Smith and Archie Knox will be well briefed on them in such a short space of time, of course. But yeah, it's down to the Rangers players on the night. He's picked a very strong team, like I said before, a very solid team. I think Rangers obviously don't want to lose the game. If they get a point out of the game, fine, but 2 points would be great for them.
The Russians, Davey, a young side, but obviously full of determination and character.
Yeah, as you could see, they're young and very, very fit. I think it shows you with the goal that they scored against Barcelona, one of the goals, they went from one end of the pitch right up to the other very, very quickly. And I think defensively they could be a wee bit lacking. I think that's where Alan McCoist and Mark Haitley could really make them suffer tonight. But they're certainly a very capable side, and Rangers won't underestimate them in the least.
Every one of the Moscow players, Terry, to an extent, is in the shop window tonight. They want moves. They want to leave the club ultimately.
Yes, obviously. I mean, they've seen players go from Russia and from those countries to the West, and obviously collected lots of money on the way and lots of plaudits as well. But they'll be keen to do well. It all depends on what sort of mood they're in. If they really want to do it for the club, if they really want to do it for the money, the bonuses or whatever, or if they really want to get away to the West. So they really are in the shop window. It'll be interesting to see what their attitude is tonight.
Yes, indeed. Well, the scene is well and truly set then. So let's now cross to Bochum for the first half of CSKA Moscow against Rangers and join our commentary team tonight of summariser Gordon McQueen and commentator Jerry McNee.
And welcome to the Ruhrstadion here in Bochum. Both teams have just come onto the field. A big noisy crowd here. Of course, it's a home game for CSKA Moscow, but their fans, they have a couple of hundred here, are outnumbered and outshouted so far by the Rangers fans. So Walter Smith has opted for Alexei Mikhailichenko, Trevor Stephen and Mark Haitley as his three non-Scots, and the Russian champions along expected lines. They have a couple of dangerous players up front in Oleg Sergeyev and Ilset Fisilin. And there's the referee, Kim Milton Nielsen from Denmark. So the stadium holds in the region of 42,000 people. It was practically filled for the visit of Bayern Munich the other day. So there's the CSKA Moscow lineup. And Fokin, number 5, is the captain. Minko there, number 7, will play wide right. And Faizulin, number 11, fair-haired player, who will certainly have to be watched. This is the furthest that CSKA Moscow have ever gone in European competition. CSKA standing for Central Sports Club Army. And there are the substitutes. And 1 or 2 useful players in there as well. Mashkari, number 14, carries a threat in the air. And there's the Rangers lineup, captained tonight by Ali McCoist. Of course, Richard Gough is still absent, and Ian Ferguson back in the side as well, having missed out against Marseille. So Rangers are much stronger tonight than they were for that game a fortnight ago. And Trevor Stephen there, who will be an important player for them. Well, tonight is Rangers' 157th European tie, the 63rd in the Champions Cup. And they've won 30, drawn 9 and lost 23. The Moscow side relatively inexperienced. They've played just 13 ties in total. And some of the youngsters who come on, of course, and played against Marseille on the bench for Rangers. So Kim Nielsen there from Denmark, a 32-year-old lawyer. He was a reserve official in Sweden last summer. He handled the Leeds Stuttgart game at Elland Road, the 4-1 match. He also handled Slovan Bratislava when they played Milan earlier on in this tournament. And he has a fair bit of experience, having handled matches in Turkey and Italy. So alongside me, of course, Gordon McQueen. And Gordon, looking forward to the match.
Yeah, terrific atmosphere. Big Ranger support here, and a few Russians here as well. It really is. It's a lovely stadium. There was a lot of heavy rain here, but the pitch is in marvellous condition.
So the referee just getting everything organised. Rangers fans have been just about everywhere in this town the last couple of days, and they've been in terrific humour as well. But certainly a good noisy atmosphere, and very colourful indeed. The Russians with their various flags and banners, and I see someone down there in a green and white hoop shirt who's possibly taking a wrong turning. So it will be Ali McCoist and Mark Haitley to get this Champions League match underway for Rangers. Again, the referee just checking with his linesman. And of course, Ali McCoist can beat the Rangers goal-scoring record in Europe tonight. He's on 12 along with Ralph Brand. That's a record that's stood for about 25, 26 years. And what a night it would be for Ali McCoist to achieve that. He's achieved just about everything else in 1992. So a final check of the watch from the referee. And this European Champions League match gets underway. And the long ball played there in the direction of Alexei Mikhailichenko. And certainly his presence should be a bit of a trump card for Rangers tonight, but they'll have to watch the fast breaking of this side. Sergeyev is through the middle in this opening minute. The ball comes off Gorum. It's still not properly cleared, and eventually it's David Robertson who races in. Well, what a dramatic start here in Bochum. And already the Russians showing the tremendous pace they have going forward. Well, it was David Robertson who came rushing into the rescue. Sergeyev coming through there. Andy Gorum did well to block him. Trevor Stephen was back there. It seemed the ball must end up in the back of the net. John Brown toppling to the ground, and then across came David Robertson to get it to safety.
Well, that was a real let-off, because it looked like a certain rushing goal there. I mean, great block initially by Andy Gorum, but a real let-off with some really slack marking there by Rangers.
Well, there was always going to be such a danger through the middle. In the absence of Richard Gough, Rangers will really have to settle themselves down. Well, certainly the early warning has been given. So Robertson, who made that clearance, putting the long one forward, looking for McCoist. That's hooked away there, though, by Kolotovkin. This is Mikhailichenko for Rangers. Durant. And it's cleared upfield by Bistrov. So the Rangers fans have gone rather quiet, and no wonder. Well, you've got to say that just about everything Rangers have been involved in terms of Europe this season have been early chances. Here comes Ali McCoist now, but a high boot indicates the referee. Mr. Nielsen, I'm told, speaks very good English. McCoist racing in there, and you can see the high boot. But mind you, the Russian defender was pretty high as well. That was Sergei Fokin. This is Bistrov switching the play to Kolotovkin. Cole made the challenge of the ball breaking free, but Trevor Stephen getting a touch. Ian Ferguson to McCoy's play on, says the referee. The long one now for Haitley to chase. And the ball goes out for the throw-in to CSKA Moscow. Well, Daniel Amakachi of FC Bruges, who played against this side a couple of weeks ago, says that the neutral venue will matter not to them. They play the same way all the time, just like a machine, and they never drop the pace. And they certainly adopt a safety-first policy with players behind the ball, but they tend to suck the opposition in and then spring forward, as we witnessed in that opening minute. So Rangers will have to show a certain degree of patience as well. They defended extremely well at Elland Road against Leeds, and did a bit of counter-attacking themselves. They'll not want to do anything too positive in the opening spell. So the Moscow side content to knock it about, trying to draw Rangers out. This is Kolotovkin. It's cut out by McCall. Trevor Stephen sitting in there in a deep right position, the right back row almost. They'll be trying to get forward whenever possible. It's through now for Haitley. Good switch of play by Haitley to Mikhailichenko. Robertson's running in support. A lovely touch there from Mikhailichenko. This is David Robertson. And the ball goes behind for the corner kick to Rangers. So perhaps a chance now for David McPherson to do something. I see him moving forward along with John Brown. McAllister right on the goal line. Malyukov keeping a close watch on him. So an early test for the goalkeeper. McPherson's up there, but that's well handled by Gutiev, who's taken over in goal from Karin. And a good throw out as well. Again, they come forward at speed. This is Karsakov. Trying to find Faizulin. So 5 minutes gone here in Bochum. It's CSKA Moscow 0, Rangers 0. Again, they're knocking it about well. But in steps Durant. This is Trevor Stephen. McPherson's effort there cut out, but fortunately for Rangers it breaks to Brown. A switch of play now to Robertson. And the referee awarding the free kick. And there's the Russian manager, Gennady Kostylev.
Certainly CSKA's two forwards are prepared to work hard. Sergeyev and Faisal, and closing players down there. We've got a free kick for David Robertson.
And it's Haitley going for it and doing enough to win the corner kick, conceded there by Sergei Fokin. He was a member of the Soviet squad at Italia 90, but he didn't actually play. So it's Mikhailichenko who'll hit the in-swinger here with the left foot. He gets a second bite at it. Way to Ferguson. Good play there by Ferguson, winning another corner to Rangers. Conceded by Dmitry Karsakov. So again, it's Mikhailichenko. This time, it's an awkward one for the goalkeeper to the far post. This is Durant, wearing the number 4 this evening. Now it's Brown. Durant again. Trevor Stevens in plenty of space here. He's got Mikhailichenko to his right. He decides to have the shot, and that seemed to take a deflection there. It's a corner kick. It come off Kolotovkin.
Yeah, this is a little bit better from Rangers now. I mean, that's four corner kicks of winning the match already, and the goalkeeper didn't look too convincing when he tried to come out for that last one and missed it by miles.
So again, it's Alexei Mikhailichenko. Again, he's going for that far post. And again, the goalkeeper showing nerves. Well, I know that Archie Knox, the Rangers assistant manager, was out watching the Moscow side. So too was Billy Kirkwood, and both noted that this goalkeeper tends not to be too clever with the cross ball. He played in the second half of the match in Bruges, the 1-0 defeat after Karin had been injured, and you see him under pressure there from Haitley, not looking at all happy. Well, this is Trevor Stephen for Rangers. Ferguson. Cut out there though by Faizulin. That was well kept in play there by Bushmanov. Again, the Moscow side knocking it about quite freely. This is Minko. It's Faizulin. Cleared by Ferguson. Rangers bench there. Walter Smith hasn't quite appeared in that lineup. Here come the Russians again. It's blocked by Robertson. Mikhailichenko. Long one for Haitley to chase, but recovers there from Bistrov. McCoy's battling well. That's brilliant play by McCoy. Away from two defenders. Well, Hateley stumbled there, just outside the penalty area. But terrific work by Ali McCoist. 32 goals he has to his credit this season. Rangers battling for it again. McPherson's breaking in the right. This is McCall. So 10 minutes gone, still no scoring here in Bochum.
Yeah, that wasn't one of Stuart McCall's better efforts there, but that was a lovely bit of play by Ali McCoyster. Knocked the ball into the box for Mark Hateley, and it looked to me as if Malyukov just nudged Mark Hateley, sent him sprawling, but obviously the referee never spotted that.
Well, Stuart McCall certainly not afraid to have a pot at goal. Of course, he scored in the Skull League Cup final, and he scored a couple against Sparta Prague last year. So he tends to be a big occasion scorer. If he keeps having a pot, one of them might just go in. But here comes Ali McCoist. The first time shot, and obviously Rangers will try to put as much pressure as possible on Alexander Gutiev in the CSKA goal. Well, Ali McCoist has 5 hat-tricks this season, including 4 in one game against Falkirk. And his 2 European goals against Leeds, home and away. That's McPherson getting the touch, looking for the head of Hateley. McCall switches it to Trevor Stephen, who's getting a fair bit of space and using it well. Another high upward ball for the goalkeeper. He'll really have to settle down. 25 years of age, he certainly does have a bit of experience. This is Bistrov, played off there by Minko. It's cut out by John Brown. Trevor Stephen. McCoist, and a bit of a breakdown in communications there between the 2 Rangers players. And the throw-in goes to CSKA Moscow. McPherson's clearance. Well, Fokin is doing well enough in the air against Hateley. And here's Mikhailichenko using the pace of Robertson. He's being chased all the way by Gushin. Cleared high. They're onto the stand roof, in fact. So it's McCall providing the cross. The goalkeeper's missed it again. Touch from Hateley. It's Ferguson. It's gone in. Rangers have taken the lead. 13 minutes gone. Ian Ferguson for Rangers to light there from Archie Knox. The goalkeeper made an absolute hash of it again. Well, dramatically, Rangers take the lead.
Yeah, Stuart McCall knocks this one in, and the goalkeeper, who's had a very nervous starting up, Hateley challenges him, bounces, knocks out Ian Ferguson. It looks as if it takes a bit of a deflection, a little bit of a break for Rangers, just spins over Gutiev's head and into the back of the net. It's certainly a terrific start for Rangers.
Well, Ferguson certainly hammered the ball there. It took the slight deflection. What a start for Rangers, what a start for Ian Ferguson, his 3rd goal of the season, his 1st goal in the Champions League. Well, Ian Ferguson missed the Marseille game because of suspension, and he still has to be careful tonight with 2 bookings against his name. Another one would rule him out of the next match away to Bruges. CSKA Moscow have no fewer than 7 players on yellow cards. Well, Rangers couldn't ask for anything more. What a fright they got in the opening minute of this match. David Robertson clearing him practically off the line. And now Rangers get a break at the other end. And you really do need breaks in this tournament if you're to do anything at all. They certainly got one there, but they can really cash in now by keeping the pressure on this goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's been an awful start to the game, Gutierrez. He's just coming for balls, missing them by miles, and I think we'll see a lot of balls getting slung into the box. With Trevor Stephen down here with an injury, I mean, he's... I think a lot of people felt that Stuart McCall might fill that right back, right midfield role, but in actual fact Trevor Stevens tucked in there, and Rangers basically playing with 3 at the back.
So just over 15 minutes gone. And what a night this could be for Rangers. 2 points tonight would be a marvellous achievement, bearing in mind this is an away game for them. Going into this match with 1 point from the opening game against Marseille. So Trevor Stephen back on his feet. And the match underway again. It's Ali McCoist. And of course, not having to worry too much about the away goal rule at this stage. Rangers really can afford to push forward now and try and cash in this situation. Here they come again. And McCall almost finding Ali McCoist, taking a little knock there in the process, but running it off. Good tackle there by Ian Ferguson. The Rangers really did miss his strength in the middle of the field against Marseille.
Actually, it's always difficult for the strikers in matches like this. McCoist and Hitler have been man-marked with Malyukov and Fokine, with Bistrov just sweeping in behind, but they've made a positive start, the front two, to this match. They look well and truly capable of causing plenty of problems for the CSKA defenders.
Now, Rangers, of course, still unbeaten in this tournament. Here comes Haitley again. The goalkeeper being forced right outside the area. CSKA trying to find Faizulin. Rangers standing firm. They seem to have settled down at the back. Long ball now from Stephen, looking for Haitley. Breaks through to Durant. There's McCoist. And just failing to catch that one properly.
Yeah, he had to snatch at that one a little bit, Ali McCoist, because Bistrov was coming to close him down and he really had no time to bring the ball down and control it. Ball gets lobbed over to the back post. Snapped at it a bit with his left foot, and he'd really no other option.
Another feature of Gudiyev's play is that he doesn't like to take goal kicks, and the defender has to do it for him. But when you think about it, to lose Dimitri Karin just a few days before a game like this, there's a blow for this side, and they are going to lose more players in the days and weeks ahead. You really do wonder what they'll have left by the conclusion of this Champions League section. Well, Robertson it was who got his head to the ball.